Let's start with the basics. Climate change is essentially long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. While some of these changes occur naturally in the history of the world, scientists attribute this global warming trend to the human expansion of the greenhouse effect. The increased use of fossil fuels, deforestation, and agriculture would rank among the top causes of climate change. Some effects of climate change are hotter temperatures, increase in drought, an increase in sea level rise, along with poverty and displacement. So how is this a social problem? Climate change is actually directly related to the patterns of inequality in the world. The social groups that are most vulnerable to the climate crisis are women, children, people of color, migrant workers, sexual and gender minorities, and the elderly. Rural and urban areas are hit the hardest. These marginalized groups don't have the sufficient resources to combat the climate crisis, leading them to become displaced. In 2020, nearly 31 million people were displaced within their own countries because of disasters, at least a third of which resulted from government-led evacuations. Poor areas around the world already suffer greatly from pollution and will continue to suffer as temperatures increase. Some consequences of this is holding a higher risk for heat-related ailments. Developing countries who contribute the least to greenhouse gases in the atmosphere are disproportionately affected when it comes to the effects of the climate crisis. These countries already have significantly less technological and financial resources, as well as lacking the proper infrastructure, which depletes these countries' ability to adapt. In many places around the world, residents will be forced to relocate. As a result of rising sea levels, extreme drought, and even rainfall. Small island developing states are most vulnerable when it comes to these effects of climate change. In Fiji, more than 40 low-lying communities are earmarked to be relocated to upper ground because of rapid sea level rise. Although relocation is considered as an effective adaptation mechanism, experts argue this is not a long-term solution to the problem. So how does this affect you in Southwest Florida? The effects of climate change in Florida can be attributed to man-made increases in atmospheric carbon dioxide. This will result in increased flooding, an increase in sea level rise, and even more intense hurricanes. Another effect of rising climate that is never particularly spoken about is coral bleaching due to rising temperatures and increased carbon and nitrate in our waters.